thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Listen, I think from my perspective, I just want to give you a quick overview. I've been in retail for maybe 16, 17 years, and I guess my first company, I said a lot of press, a lot of PR, did lots of stuff there, negative and positive, right? I think it was both. And I've never really put too much attention for several factors that we can come on to around my personal brand, right? And I guess in the first instance, because I didn't need to, right? I built a very, very big business. I didn't need to over-promote myself. I'm not trying to land another job or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It was more of that kind of thing. Now, I mean, my second business, which we can come on to, and this business is going to be, it's already a lot more successful than my first business, and hopefully going to be one of the biggest fashion groups in the world, right? And again, I can do this by staying under the radar, not letting anyone know what I'm up to, not putting myself out there, doing the bare minimum, and that's very feasible. But I think part of me thinks I should build my profile because it just, it lets me tell my story to the world in the way I want to tell it rather than someone else to tell it. There's that bit. But secondly, I think it'll open up more opportunities to me. I don't think it's going to make my business revenue go from X to Y. My business revenue, I think, humbly is going to go from X to Y without me doing anything. Right? I'm really focusing on my business. But it just opens up a lot of opportunities, be it board opportunities, be it whatever. And I think what I want to do with my current business is in the next 2 years, so I want to float it. Right? And I want to float it probably in this region, in the UAE. And I think, like in this today's day and age, I think social currency is also currency, right? So like, I guess if we look at this, and sorry if I'm jumping around, it's like, I'm giving you lots of reasons why I don't need to, and I think they're all viable reasons, right? And I guess the advantage of this is that I do it under the radar, and there's something quite cool about doing that as well, right?
Sure.
And my business partner, I'm giving you reasons why I don't need to. The other way of looking at it is like, why wouldn't you, right? Like, why wouldn't you? You've got a really good story to tell. I've done some cool things. I've got lots of learnings. I think I can deliver interesting content to people, so why wouldn't I, right? It's the other way of looking at it. And I think I'm toying on both, right? I've always been this side, like, I don't need to, but actually I think I'm more leaning to I should do it. And now, I guess the conversation, where we should try and push this conversation is like, if I do it, how do I do it? Can it be with you? It could be with my own team. It could be with some other random people, whoever it is. It's like, who can I do it with? And then it's like, what channels and what content, right? Is the next kind of thing, right? So let's approach this conversation as in, I've moved out of this camp and I'm in this camp. I should do it, right? Talk to me about your thoughts and everything. And ask me whatever questions you want to ask. Let's just see this. I'm not saying this is exactly. Let's just say we've got this 30 minutes to me. You need to try and pitch to me why I should be doing this or why I should be doing it with you, okay? Ask me whatever you want to ask, because I think I can give you a bit more insight in terms of what I'm up to. If you want, I can give you some insight into how I would think about this, but I'll throw the ball over to you. I'll be very transparent with you, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No, I totally understand, and it's also like a frequent question, like among, I would say, most people that I meet. And I don't know if you follow Alex Hormozi, but he said once back, if losing my privacy and being like sort of famous is the price that I have to pay to inspire people and help other business owners, he said that's I'm willing to do that. And I think what you said perfectly is sharing your story in your own terms, right? Because there are a ton of and I personally, I have worked before in PR agencies and with media, with traditional media. So the way that I've seen ever is they follow their agenda, right? So if you, for example, I Google your name and there are like a few, for example, articles from Daily Mail and different media outlets that I'm 100% sure that they tell your story based on what they want, right? Their agenda. So I think you don't need your personal brand to traction more sales, right? Because you're a B2C company. So I think my question would be, what do you want, let's say, not just you. So I know you're a father. So let's say your son goes you in 10 years. what would you like him to see or to realize how his dad build something or share lessons or share content? Because that's another topic that I've been asked. Like, what type of content do I want my kids to see from me?
Yeah, sure. And again, if I'm just honest with you, like I don't want to, like, for me, again, I'm just looking very transparent. I'm building a multi-billion-dollar business at the moment. Right? I'm gonna do that without my PR. Right? That's not me.
No.
But if I do PR with it, well, I guess what's the upside for me? I can build myself into like more, than just me on it. So let's look at it. I want to build my personal profile up, right? I'm not very clear on why. Yeah, I don't know the why, and I feel like I should because everyone else around me is doing it. There's people doing it with much smaller businesses and less interesting stories than me. And with that kind of, let's just call it social currency or social fame, whatever you want to call it, opens up a lot of doors, right? And I think the world has moved this way already over the last decade, and it's moving more and more this way, right? So why do I not want to be on that bandwagon? That's the way we should look at it, right?
Yeah.
Again, I'm sorry to be again so blunt. From almost put to the side, I don't really care what my son thinks, but my son's going to be happy with me if I'm a good father and if I provide for him. Right? This side's probably less important. I guess that's it. I should potentially look to build my own following and my own fame, and that it is fame to a degree, right? And that opens doors because why wouldn't I, right? And that's the way to look at it. And I think, again, just pushing to it, well, I'm not really interested. I'm not going to show people that I go taking my son out every week. I should tell people about business, right? That's what I should be telling people. I built a business from scratch to amazing heights, and I went through a really rough time at the end. I've come out of it, straight away I've built another business, and it's already as big, and it's going to be even bigger, right? And what's my, I should share that story with people, right? Why not? It's inspiring, it's motivating, I think there's really good content and angles on it, and I can build a profile out of it, which will open up doors for me in the future. Whatever those doors are, and I idea my business, it might make people more attracted to it. If I want to start another business in the future, who knows? If I want to buy businesses, who knows? If I want to get invited to the next film premiere, who knows? Right? It could be anything, right?
Yeah.
And so why wouldn't I do it when everyone else around me is? I think that's the way we should approach this.
What I see, for example, from like successful creators like, I don't know, Simon Squibb, that's from the UK as well. They are doing like what you say, like they share what they've done because they don't have secrets. They believe in like the sharing, transparency, sharing, honesty, authenticity, and I believe that's the way. Because I've also, when I reach out to you, I just said like trust in institutions has declined, and and for someone like you, I think what you said is inspiring. It's valuable. People can share, can learn from you, from your journey. And
Yeah, so listen, I think again, let me just give you my thoughts if it has to do with how I do it. I think for me the most let's go back to that. Before I just met you now, you probably started researching me, whatever, a few weeks ago, right? And again, I don't know what prompted you to do that, we can come on to that. What prompted you to reach out to me? Did you see something online? Like, what made you get in touch with me, by the way?
no, I was actually, because I'm going to Dubai, I think next month. So I was just purely looking for founders and CEOs in Dubai, and I came across your profile. To be honest, I didn't know the brand, but then I looked to your name, and of course, like it's impressive. But it was like by not by coincidence, because I don't believe there are coincidences, but yeah.
But you think you're just searching people on LinkedIn or
Yeah.
LinkedIn?
No.
Interesting. So I used to, like on my Instagram and everything, I used to post a lot, right? And I think at some stage I deleted everything and I just went quiet for a bit. But when I was posting, I was very honest with what I was telling people. I was celebrating the good times, putting pictures of all the cool launch parties, da da da.
Yeah.
And when I had that time, I was very honest with it as well, right? And that got really, really good engagement, really, really positive sentiment. And it felt good, right? It felt like a good, there's something nice about it. It felt scary sometimes, like exposing yourself to the world, not all my cousins think, or my auntie think, all that kind of shit, right? But it felt good. And I think that for me, the most natural, comfortable place for me to start talking would be LinkedIn, right? Because I think I prefer to do that initially, talk on LinkedIn, rather than go into Instagram, as an example, and tell everyone what I'm doing in business. I'm all quiet. I need to figure out in my mind and when I'm comfortable pushing myself on Instagram. But on LinkedIn, 100%, I should be, as a minimum, posting around what's going on in my business, right? More frequently. There's so much stuff happening in my business, like my current business day to day, that I could be posting, talking about, plus sharing my story, wisdom, whatever you want to call it. We could come up with a whole content strategy for LinkedIn, which, straight away, I wouldn't feel uncomfortable posting, right?
Yeah.
That's one thing. And then secondly on my mind is like TikTok, I think is an interesting place to be.
Absolutely.
Right? And I think I would, again, just being open with you, I would feel more comfortable starting up a new profile on TikTok and pushing content on than I would pushing content onto Instagram where I've got followers, right? Don't ask me why, it's just like, I don't know why, it's just like where I would feel more comfortable. But LinkedIn for me would be a very easy place for me to get out of my head to start talking, right? Because I just said, well, for obvious reasons, it's like a natural place to do that, right? And I think I could then think about TikTok. But TikTok would have to do it in a very cool way and have to come up with a very cool content strategy. Like I said, we could build it, and we've got lots of studio space and everything, all of that, my business, right? So that I could think about. But LinkedIn would be like the most easy place to start in month one.
Yeah, I actually prepare. I don't know if you want, like, I can show you some like of the I've done some strategy like work. If you want, I can share.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with you. It's basically what I did here is basically just map out what I mean, your story according as we've been talking, your story according to Wikipedia, to the press, to social media. So it's just some research, and I've mapped out 6 principles, as you perfectly stated before, like being honest, being like facing the elephant in the room. I think that's the most important thing, and reading the room as well, because you mentioned, for example, some commercials. I wouldn't do some commercials, but what I would do, for example, is first build the narrative on LinkedIn, and then on month 4 or 5, I can show you that start collaborating with modern creators, like, I don't know, Imangazzi, or there are modern creators that will bring you a new audience, because traditional PR won't get you the audience that you need right now, from my point of view.
So just I wanted to know that at the moment I've also turned down potentially very good opportunities, like when last year Steven Bartlett reached out to me to be on Diary of a CEO, right, which obviously is a great thing to be on, and I said no, not for now, right? And the reason I said that is because I was in the process, I was in between, I guess, the sour end of my last business to, I wanted to tell my story when I was on an upward trajectory, right? Not when I'm down. I'm now on an upward trajectory, and I still don't want to, I want to tell it in maybe a year or two, like go on there and say, like, I went through this, I went through that, right? So I'm like, at the moment, I'm getting these great opportunities, but I'm just turning them down, right? So I'm just not in my mind comfortable yet of doing it.
What I identify is 4 pillars. So I agree with what you say about like the technical piece of the content, like your process building, like Sumo Studios, like the e-commerce insights, right? But I think there's a valuable piece in your story and I've seen like work really well with my clients, because I mean, and probably you feel it that way. Like when people share some personal stories, it's not just it's not that you are sharing your pillow talk, right? But for example, what type of lessons your father or how your father shaped your character, right? Or your grandfather, because you are a son of immigrants. I am a son of immigrants, so I resonate a lot with that type of stories, and people too. So that's what Wikipedia says about your personal life. So now what I identify, it's a human story will be very powerful because it's make you human. Because if you see it some way, when you say, for example, a fashion brand, and when you talk about revenue, that builds trust, and that builds thought leadership across peers and the industry. But to the B2C, especially like you have a B2C brand, from my point of view, is like the more human you can be, the more relatable you will be, and the more you will connect with the overall like audience, like being a father, being a husband, like I mean, talking about your evolution or your mindset shift, building a family, building another business, right? I think that process is valuable to share.
Yeah.
This is just some examples that of work like we do with, for example, this is something that maybe you resonate with. Mike is a client of ours. He's a CEO in the construction, like in Minnesota. But his story basically is he inherited a business from his dad, like a 90-unit business. And there were people saying, you had it easy. And we had to start addressing that story and saying, hey, I inherited a 90-unit business from my dad, but I turned into a 1,000 unit and 200 million in assets. Because there was already a story going on. Like, hey, and you're people talk, right? People talk, and same here. Karen, it's a Peruvian entrepreneur. She's a lighting designer for like luxury penthouse condos. But people talk, so we need to start addressing that type of stories and controlling that narrative. This is more on the human side, but also like as you said, like industry leadership and the team as well. I think that's important. What kind of people are you working with? The people that's important in your journey. I mean, across like any vertical. I watched actually your documentary on there were like 4 or 5 episodes on YouTube. So I've watched you talking with I don't remember the name, but you were talking with a guy from the warehouse in the UK.
Akil, yeah.
Yeah, you said he's loyal. He was working like from the beginning. I think that type of stories will work and will shape your reputation, because I mean it's real people, right? And that touch. I mean, what I see is a way to touch hearts and souls, because that's the way in some way that I see is like connecting with people genuinely. And also, for example, your passion for fitness, right? I think that's kind of your hobbies, your routines, right? How you shape your routine, because for example, Mike, he's a like a multimillionaire, like 200 million in assets, but he's very frugal, and maybe his friends laugh at him, and he says like my entire wardrobe is 5K. So we made a post about how his wardrobe is worth less than 5K, right? And we got an invite to a TEDx.
I think, Fran, the pillars you mentioned are good. I think that we could probably refine them a little bit. What I'm really interested in is like, and maybe you'll come onto this, is that if we were to work together, how do you? I'm obviously running a business, right? And I know in order to do this world as well, I'm going to need to put a bit of time into it. But the reality is, it's only going to be a bit of time, right?
Yeah.
My main time is on doing what I'm doing. How do you get into my head? And how do we actually get the content out? I'm more interested in that.
Yeah.
There's loads of shit in here that you don't know. You can read 1% about me online, right?
Yeah.
So what is that actual process? Because this just needs to not get in the way of what I'm doing if I'm going to do it, right?
Exactly.
So I'm very interested to hear how that would work. This first day, what happens? Talk me through that.
Yeah. First, what I share you, it's a questionnaire. It's like 30 questions, not just about the business, but about, for example, what you think about your relationship with your dad, with your grandfather. Like, I need to see what's under the hood, right? Like your thoughts. Also, for example, auto perception. How do you think your wife sees you, for example? If I ask, I think the differential here, and that's why we do storytelling and not just lead generation, it's self-awareness and introspection. That's a big part of our work. So first I send you a questionnaire with a broad range of questions. And then I think we do require at least 1 hour weekly meeting. If that's a lot, we can adjust.
What do you ask in your weekly meeting? What kind of questions are you asking in that meeting?
I usually, on the first meetings, I do like follow-up questions from the questionnaire, like personalized.
Yeah.
I will need to understand more about like your actual business, and that's also like to share.
Yeah.
Okay, and then in terms of the cadence of posting, like, again, when I ease into this in your mind, right, at the moment I'm posting, God knows, one every 2 months, every 2 months at best, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if somebody goes posting every, like, how would you see that working? Would I just start doing once, a couple of times a month, and then get to like 10 times a month, and then how do you see that bit working?
No, what I've map out in the link that I've sent you is I will start to actually get results. I will start with 3 posts a week. That's not a lot. If you do have the time to make the calls, we can easily pull the ideas and the content pieces from that.
Yeah.
But I would say to not waste your time, I would say 2-3 is the minimum that I see like required to start to get some traction.
Yeah.
For at least 6 months, and then double down, as you said. Like if you wanna dedicate more time, you can start like doing blogs or whatever. But to start at the beginning, I would say just 2-3 posts a week.
Yeah, okay. And talk to me about your commercial model. How do you work? What would you propose, right? Like in my mind, let me just think about this. If I'm just talking, if we were to work together, I also want to set, like, I think there's 2 things I want to do. I want to build myself as a voice in fashion and entrepreneurialism, right? E-commerce, whatever we could, I'm just talking way top line. And secondly, I want to build the profile of my business. At the moment, my business is in year 2, we're going to do probably 350 million in revenue, and where no one knows about us, right? So I want to slowly start telling that story to the world, like, check out what we're building, and no one even talks about this, right? So like, that would probably be off the top of my mind, my 2 goals. Right? And I'd be very happy to be very open about certain things, maybe when it comes to like family stuff, or I would say stuff I'd be less happy about sharing being so open, right? But again, all these things we can work on, right? But let's just assume for 3 months we would do whatever, like 3 posts a week, right? So that's whatever it is, 12 posts a month, right? 36 posts over the 3 months. What would your commercial model be? You can come back to me, but just talk to me like theoretically, like how would you look at this?
$2,200.
Yeah.
So that's more or less on a monthly basis. For look, what is LinkedIn, and we can also do some Instagram.
I think for an Instagram, I'm less like, I think Instagram's the last thing I want to do, right?
Yeah.
I think the way I'd see this is like, let me find, let me know I don't know my stats on LinkedIn, right? Let me just look at them. I think I have like how many followers do I have? It says I have. I don't look at the followers. I don't even know. So I've got 8,000 followers, right? So like for me, I would like to say like let me try and grow from 8,000 to 100,000 in 12 months, right?
Yeah.
Let's test it for 3 months and see what traction we make. And if that works well and I get more comfortable with it, then let's think about opening up more channels, right?
Yeah.
But the next natural place for me would probably be TikTok, and then maybe TikTok and Instagram similar, right? I don't know, I need to figure that out. But for now, I'll just focus on this. Let me become an authority on LinkedIn, right? Yeah. And in terms of the copywriting, how does that work? So you would get all this information from me, you would essentially write everything. I think obviously in the early days you would probably need to understand my tone of voice and what I like and what I don't like. That's just like a back and forth conversation.
That's a back and forth.
And Fran, let me ask you, why should I do this with you and not someone else? Like, why are you so special?
To be fully honest, I think I love what I do. I found my passion in like helping people tell their story, and it took me like I'm 26, yeah, but I was born in a lower class family in the north of Argentina, so like with my mom, and I mean I work in agencies, I work in companies like in PR, I work across like all verticals of marketing and PR for 8 years. So I have the technical background, but I also think like I'm good at listening. I've developed a lot of like empathy and the soft skills needed to actually get in your head. Because I mean, to be honest, you can go to ChatGPT or hire a freelancer on Upwork and say like, hey, just write this type of, or ask ChatGPT for ideas. But ChatGPT is not a differentiator. And I think self-awareness and the ability to interpretation and understand you and how you think, I think that's what you need, and someone who can read the room for you. That's what my point of view.
Sure. Okay. And like, who do you think? I mean, maybe you don't know the answer to that. Who's doing this well? Like, if we said, okay, we're going to start working together, let's go and assess the market, right? That's what we should do. Who is doing this really fucking well that we need to obviously do it in our own way, but we need to mimic what they're doing? Like that is what we want to be in 1 year's time. Who at the top of your mind is doing it really, really well?
Generally, or in specific industry?
I mean, I think if we were to move to the next step, I'd probably like want to ask you this question like both, but just however you want to answer it, right? Like generally, and then we could talk about like in retail or fashion or e-commerce or whatever.
Yeah, my first question will be from Manuel, like Gary Vee. Of course, he's the biggest, but the thing that I admire the most is the way he kept sustaining his authenticity across his content.
Yeah.
So, fine, I'm going to interrupt you. This is one of the goals for me if I was to do this, right? So, like I said, I say this very humbly, but I'm very confident in myself to build this into a $1 billion business, right? In the next few years, right? I'm very, very confident in that. What I would like to do, if I'm able to grow my social profile, is I would like to be able to DM the likes of Gary Vee for a meeting and get it. I'd like to DM a basketball player and he takes me seriously because I want to go have a conversation with him. That's why I need to build my profile. I didn't think about it, but that's why I need to. Give me more access to people. It's not going to help me grow my business. It might do a little bit, right? Because I become bigger, the awareness becomes bigger, that will boost sales. But I need to be able to connect with people I want to connect with. Currently, I have to go through an intermediary, right? I'm trying to do a clothing brand with these A-list singers at the moment, and I have to go through someone and tell them about me for them to take me seriously. But who are you? I need people to know who I am, like in that kind of situation. That should be a goal for me. And I think if I was to work with you, I'd say, I'd like to, like, for me, before we can get onto this, what does good look like, and like, who do we look at, what are the content pillars which you showed, and then probably show what I'm really, really comfortable with, this is what I'm less comfortable with, just to show my vulnerability with you, right? And then you can help potentially shape that, and then, what is the roadmap to get there, right? And then that's the way I look at my business, right? We set ourselves big targets and we build a strategy to be able to hit this. No different to this, right? Okay. So, listen, I think if you want to just send, I think, again, just being open with you, I think I've had this in my mind. researched a little bit about who I can work with to do this. There's loads of companies that do this, right? Or there's a handful of companies that do this. And I was potentially looking at bringing someone in-house to do it, right? Listen, that might be a long-term viable solution for me. I could bring in 2 or 3 people to do this for me. But I think there's something I quite like about you, and listen, sometimes in life you just take a punt and see what happens, right? So I think we're not agreeing on anything yet, but let's assume I'd be happy to trial something for 3 months, right? And I think 3 months we'll trial something, no one loses sleep if it doesn't work out. Both work together to try and make this work. Your fee, I'm happy with, right? But we still need to solve this. I have to work with you. You still need to sell it to me, right? So send me across your proposal. I know you need to understand me a little bit more, but hopefully you understand me a bit more after having this call than you did before. Write the first post for me on LinkedIn.
Okay. Like
just so I get a flavour of maybe you can write 2 or 3 posts. I won't use them, but just to show me like how you think. Because if you're completely off the mark, I get it. If you're off the mark a little bit in terms of what's in my head, I get that. We just know each other. But if you're like completely off the mark, and I think that this is nothing like I never want to do this, like that doesn't feel me, then I think, then maybe I'll just be open to you and say, that's alright. At least that way I'll get you a little bit more, right?
Okay, absolutely. I mean, just to go back to your question, like why we should do this, is the constant feedback that I get from clients is people telling them like, hey, this actually sounds like you, right? And that's what I don't see, for example, like even Steven Bartlett, like I go to his LinkedIn and it's not him, it's like just pictures and quotes, right? And that's that I don't want for clients, like diluting and being like unpersonalized brands, because that's not the goal.
So, I mean, it's a good point, right? So, I follow Steven on LinkedIn, and he's just posting pictures and quotes and stuff like that. It is also engaging as well, right? Now, I think from what you're saying, you want to tell more purposeful stories, right? Really get inside the heart and mind of who you're working with and present that. Is there not room for both?
Yes, but with more intention. I would say not just posting because of being there, because posting with something meaningful and because you are not trying to reach like, I don't know, billions of people. You are trying to be maybe millions, but the right ones.
So why Steven's probably got quite a big media team around him, right? Why do you think he's posting that stuff and not doing it the other way?
Is it because his media team got the wrong strategy, or like, what do you think?
I think, and that's also like my point of view, of course, but he has a I don't know, the team is like junior in some way, what I see from outside, but also he's more focused on the podcast. I mean, LinkedIn is not his business. They are doing it just to be there, and I get it, because I mean, Gary Vee has 47 employees for his personal brand, and that's something he says every day. Like, I got 47 people working on his brand.
Understood. Let me ask you another question now. Do you think I should go on Gary as the CEO? And if so, when should I go on it?
I would say yes, but not now. Maybe in, like as you said, it's exactly on the proposal that I've made. I've mentioned like not giving traditional PR interviews for the next 6 months, right? Because I will do maybe with Steven in 1 year, but I think before we need to like as a brand, we will need to collaborate with smaller creators to start training the narrative, because Steve has a lot of hate, and I see like a lot of hate. So I think the narrative has to be more solid before like going there.
Okay, cool. All right, so it's good to speak to you, friend. Really enjoyed it. Come back to me, right?
Yeah.
Give me a proposal. Come within 3 months, whether it's something I want to do. I think there's 2 things I need to get my head into, right? A, do I want to do this long term?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like part of me is slightly against doing it for whatever reason. I'm scared of putting myself out there. It's probably the right statement, right? I'm scared. I want to, but I'm scared. I'd say there's a bit of that. Secondly, it's just time, and also, do I want to put my head above the parapet? It's quite nice to be building this business in stealth mode. There's something quite nice about that as well. And then thirdly, I think I'll also within 3 months get to see whether I like working with you. I'm sure I'll like working with you, but whether I think we gel the right way, right? So, and then we'll just be very open throughout it, okay?
Okay, absolutely. I love your honesty and transparency. I think that's one of the things that I ask when I start working with someone. It's like, just like the meme of like Victoria Beckham, be honest. Like there's nothing bad.
Yeah, okay.
So I'll leave the ball in your court, right? Come back to me on what you think, and we can go from there, okay?
Okay, I will send you first the proposal, and then I'll come back with during the day with the reintroduction post.
Yeah, so send it all in one email, right? Okay. No rush, right? Send it all together, okay?
It's lovely to speak to you, okay? Take care.
Good to speak to you. Take care. Bye-bye.